What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Deonte Burden. Hey, we're having a quick live feed today on Changing Lives in regards to how to make sure your child gets a job after college. Um, I know a lot of people have had this question, especially debating on if you have children that are in school or heading to are in college currently or on their way towards high school graduation. People are all over the place in regards to, should I encourage my child to go to the military? Should they go to trade school? Should they go to traditional college? What should I do? Or should I just have them just get in the workforce? What should I do? And I want to have a discussion with everybody because as a father that has had two sons that have graduated and got full scholarships and also one graduating this year, I want to share my insight in regards to what I think people should do and what people aren't doing in relation to that because I'm not so stuck, quote unquote, in regards to colleges for everybody or anything like that. I'm not with that mode of thinking, but I am from the mode of thinking is that no matter what you choose to do, there's still a path that you go in regardless, and that being if you're going to trade school, college, military, whatever route you choose to go into. And I do think by not having a formal plan in place in regards to whatever career path your child is choosing to go into, that's more the problem than the whole point of whatever avenue you decide to go down in regards to whatever training they have at the high school. Just before we started off, I want to say what's up to everybody. I am Deonte Burden. It's to Change Your Lives, hosted by Deonte Burden. Today we're discussing how to make sure your child gets a job after college. Right now we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I got a call-in show going on. So right now, if you do want to call in, you can call us at 678-961-3176. Again, that number is 678-961-3176. Only the people that are viewing us on Instagram can't see the number. So the number for the call-in is at the bottom. So you feel free to call in again, 678-961-3176. Again, we're discussing how to make sure your child gets a job after college. The thing of it is, I look at different, YouTube channels, even having a discussion with other people in regards to what path they want to go into. And typically, especially with President Biden relinquishing student loan debt about a month ago, a lot of people have, said that looked at college more so from like a negative vantage point in regards to it being a scam, it's overpriced. Why would you go there? You can actually go get you a trade and do certain things. I'm not from that mode of thinking. And the reason why I'm not from that mode of thinking, I think college is a great avenue to go down, not because I'm an educated person, but more so that I look in the grand scheme of things because I'm one of them few people, I won't say few people, I'm one of those people that actually have skill trades and also a formal education. And I do understand everything has a purpose and everything has pros and cons with college or if you get your skill set, trade, and also been in the military. But there are pros and cons with everything you choose to do. And with that, I want to have that discussion today in regards to why I think, again, a lot of those shortcomings come up because far too often you hear the same scenario. A person goes to college, they accumulate all the student loan debt, they graduate from college, and they're stuck in an actual career or a job they don't necessarily want to do, right? They're in this particular job. It was the only thing they could find. They couldn't find anything for the major they went into. And they're just stuck in probably just, an unfun situation going forward. And that's nothing uncommon for people to have got their education, get hired on a job, and be there, 15, 10, 20, 30 years, graduate, but they never really probably they never did exactly what they wanted to do, or most important, what they even went to school for, right? So that's why I want to have this conversation with you guys today, because one of the biggest things I think that hinders a lot of people when we start talking about looking for jobs after college is that I don't think on the front end, I discussed this on previous videos on Change Your Lives. On the front end, I just don't think families do enough research to try to find out exactly what will be the best path for them to go into. So what I mean by that is, typically, from the involvement level that a parent has, a parent probably or someone's being, that first mentor in regards to helping that child get ready for college or get ready for, their life after high school, whatever career path they're going into. And so you start looking at a particular major you want to go into. Hey, listen, I'm good at math. I want to go into, business, engineering, different things like that, architecture, design, things like that. I like reading. I want to get into law. I want to get into English. I'm going to teach, and all these kind of things go up and then. So typically, you look at schools that have probably quote unquote good program for the particular major that you want to go into. Go down that path. Go, experience college life, get educated, meet friends, pledge fraternities, sororities, join clubs, make lifelong friendships, graduate. You may do a couple of interns here and there while you're in college. Graduation comes and goes. You didn't get hired on, before you graduate from college, and now you're looking for different things. Parents, friends making phone calls for you. You looked up, got on with a job somewhere, and you're there, and then maybe a year or two in there, it's not what you really wanted to be. Get in one of those little, I won't call them traps, but those little life traps. Get married, get a baby, get a car, get a house, and next thing you know, shit, you can't do nothing. And it happens all the time to people, right? So what I say in regards to that front end research and stuff, the first thing I think a lot of parents, the first thing you should do to make sure when we start talking about make sure your child gets a job after college is to make sure you do, intense research in regards to that actual major that they want to have. Keep in mind, be flexible, guys. I can't say this enough. It's nothing uncommon for a student to get to college and change their major because, you take one or two classes, you like, hey man, listen, I wanted to be a veterinarian, but this is not me. I'm not interested in that. When I first went to college, I have a bachelor in one in business and one in finance. And when I first went to college, I was in the military. I was like workout king, guru. I wanted to do a physical fitness and a PE teacher. So I was looking to be a kinesiology major. And I'm not a big fan of science. And I struggled with chemistry in high school, and I just had this whole. I think I took a couple of. I struggled with it in high school and even in junior college. I think I took a biology and a zoology class, and I mean, it made me cringe just thinking about that stuff. So that was like a big deterrent for me wanting to even get into any kind of kinesiology. I didn't want to do anything that had to do with science whatsoever, just no interest of mine whatsoever. And so I kind of got away from that. I took accounting. A magnet program in high school had the financial services program. So that's the path I went. Coincidentally, I got into the my undergrads in finance, and I fell into the accounting field. But I'll talk about that a little bit later in the discussion. But kind of be flexible in regards to making sure that you guys understand that your child may change their major. So the point of that, even bringing that up, is make sure they're in a situation wherever they're going that, if that particular major doesn't work, they're kind of cool with going to that particular school, right? Because you still want to be happy in a happy situation. Because if you go there and you don't like what you went to school for, and that's the only reason why you went there, chances are it's gonna have some kind of negative impact in regards to your enthusiasm about going to class, your interest about going to class, the whole gamut. So I would say make sure that even though they may have a particular thing they want to go to school for, you actually have some kind of contingent, more so you like the actual quote unquote school, very much so, because I think that's what get lost in the sauce a lot of times, because it's nothing uncommon. Most people they go to college, they actually go there and change majors. It happens all the time. So just make sure it's a situation that your kid likes. Even when we start talking about whatever they're looking to do as far as majors, a couple things need to be done on the front end. And those things are, number one, making sure that, let me see if I can add something to this. When I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to do more than one thing at a time. Number one, looking at the actual opportunities for those particular majors where you're at. If you're going to do some kind of science or engineering, things like that, where are those jobs at regionally? Where do they hire at? At the school you're going to, do they have a good job of transitioning people to that particular field? Again, is that a job that you can work close to home? Is your child flexible about moving out of state relocating after graduation. Are you comfortable with doing that, even though it's your child's life? We know the impact that a lot of parents have on their kids' decision making. What do you what are you okay with? Are you gonna let them have full throttle autonomy with doing that? And it's not a right or wrong way of looking at it, but where are those opportunities at? How much do they pay? Right? Do they got to move abroad? Are they going to get decent compensation to actually be able to live and thrive off? Do it start off at a certain amount, and after a couple certifications, a couple accreditations that they can get, they'll be able to make decent wages, or do they just come out the gate doing well with doing it? What are the opportunities with doing it? What's the lifestyle that's associated with doing that particular job? Do all this stuff on the front end before they leave out of your house to go to college, people. Again, we know that they may go to college and change their mind what they're going to school for, but I think it's super important that you have these discussions, understanding that. And the reason why what's so important about this is because a lot of times people do not find this stuff out until after graduation, which is too late, because hell, it's done now. It's done. It's done. What everything you went to school for is set in stone. If there's not a lot of opportunities for it in a certain region or near your home, you guys have not had those honest discussions. Are you cool with relocating? You cool with moving? Things like that. Though because it hasn't happened, now you're putting yourself in a situation where you may have to just totally get out of that and just take what you can get. So we want to be very proactive and let that be part of your decision making. If you look at it and you see it's not that many opportunities, you may have to move abroad, this, that, and that, and you say, okay, look, I've been equipped with all the information on the front end to help with my decision making. I still want to choose this major. The pros, we're looking at the pros and cons. The cons don't outweigh the pros, or the cons is not as impactful. Even if they outweigh them, impactful enough, even though they outweigh the pros, but it's still something that I want to do. I get it, but at least you knew, right? You're not in a reactionary standpoint where you didn't know exactly what you were supposed, or any information about the field or the opportunities or even the pay amount, okay? So the first thing is make sure we do good research to find out exactly what the opportunities are, where are the opportunities, and what are the pay with those opportunities. That's that pre-planning before your child goes to college. Then, guys, again, I am Deonte Burden to Change the Lives. Today we're discussing how to make sure your child gets a job after college. We'll stream it live on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. We got a call in going in. If you want to call in, guys, the number is 678-961-3176. And then the next phase we're talking about as far as being during the whole point when you're in college. And here's the deal with that. You want to make sure while they're there, those 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit more while your child is at school, they're making the most out of the experience they're there. And this is the key component, because far too often people, what's done in college is done to get you out of college, not to help you for a life after college, outside of just attaining a degree. So what I mean by that is make sure that your child is very, very active with meeting people. I understand if they're an introvert and everything like that, but at the end of the day, you're going to school, you can go get educated, but you're also not going to be in a situation where you're going to damn work for yourself. So you do need to understand the importance of meeting people and working with people. Doesn't mean you got to be the life of the party. Doesn't mean you have to be this super person that can talk to all kind of people. But they do need to understand the importance of getting out of their comfort zone and meeting certain people and putting yourself in certain situations, okay? You need to make sure that you're joining clubs. You need to make sure that, you're meeting folks and make sure that people know who you are, what you're going to school for, and you're doing the same thing for them, okay? While your child is in college, make sure they do internships. Because one of the key things about it, a lot of times when you graduate from college, even though they're coming from on the initial level into a job, they still may ask for some kind of experience. Of course, they don't have the experience of somebody that may be 5-10 years in the industry, but just having some kind of familiarity with doing the internship where they've just already been in a corporate office or corporate setting, or just say any kind of work environment already. So they've been somewhat indoctrinated in regards to how working goes, right? Do some kind of internship. Make sure that your child is networking, okay? Make sure they're networking. We talk all the time, but people always say it's not what you know, it's who you know. The problem comes is nobody got any damn who's. And they're too cool to go get some who's because they don't want to talk to nobody. They're not feeling it. I don't talk to strangers. That's not me to go walk up to people. but it's something with you to go ask somebody for a damn job interview. At some point, you got to get out your comfort zone and just say, listen, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. Let me practice. And here's the deal, just like anything else. Once you do it, and the more you do it, the more comfort you're going to get with doing it. Okay. So make sure that networking, going to different events, they're going to, like I said, going to different clubs, meeting people. Now, again, I'm not saying they got to be the life of the party. If they're not, they're somewhat of an introvert with dealing with things and stuff like that. I get it. But at the end of the day, do you rather be uncomfortable trying to get out of your shell and networking and meeting people in school, or had that damn pressure on your ass after you graduate for your child to try to find a job? You trying to help your child pay a job. You trying to help your child pay the student loans. Your child been burdened with all that. Look, do all the rough stuff on the front end so I can be real smooth on the back end. You know my motto. So make sure they're doing those particular things while they're in school and stuff. Meeting, hey, like I said, just making some good connections while you're in school and do certain things. I'm gonna be honest with you. With myself, I was a non-traditional student, so at the high school, I went to the military, got the family and everything after the military, and went to school at night. So my thing was I had a little boy and a baby, so I never got a chance to have a real quote unquote college experience. I'm trying to working in a warehouse during the day, going to Georgia State with Atlanta Metro and Georgia State at nighttime, got my degrees, and everything was just rush. Didn't have opportunity to do the internships because I had to take care of kids. Just grinding, trying to get it. And there were key things that I missed out on because number one, I had time, and number two, I didn't have a Deonte or person to talk to. I didn't have forums like even with the video we're doing today, just sharing with people, hey, this is the best route for you to go in regards to doing certain things and stuff. That wasn't available to me at that particular time. So that's why I want to make sure that I, even share the information experiences that I've had with doing that. But you have to make sure that your child is getting out there doing these particular things as far as networking, meeting and things like that. And you also got to make sure that, talk to people that that have been in the same situations. I'm always real big on from the school of thought of looking at people, where you want to be. See the people that are where you want to be and had a conversation with them. Hey man, how did you get here? What did you do? How, what did you do right? What did you do wrong? If you can go back in time, what would you change? Will some people, be kind of reluctant to talk to you? Sure. But a lot of times, most of the time, I feel personally, a person would share their struggles with you because they legitimately did that. And it's kind of like a badge of honor to be able to share success stories with people. So I definitely would, as a parent, be aggressive with trying to, have conversation with people that have shared stressors or have accomplished things they have accomplished things with their children that you want to accomplish with yours. I always remember, when my oldest son was in high school, he got an athletic scholarship. I was always surprised that more people didn't speak to me, ask me what I did. And it probably just surprised me more so because I was always that person. Hey man, what did y'all do? How did you get about it? And that's really been, to be honest with you, the secret to my success. I'm in the position I am right now because I didn't mind asking questions. Have I ever been ignored by people? Have my texts and calls, voice messages got ignored? Absolutely. But for the most part, I didn't give a damn about that because the position I want to be in was far more important about than some pride if somebody will have an attitude and not about talking to me. But you also learn that a lot of people genuinely want you to, most people generally want themselves to do well, your children do well, and also their children do well. The issue comes up being sometimes if people feel like they're going to be losing out by helping you, that's when you might get a lot more reluctancy from people reaching out and helping you with everything. But make sure your child's building that network up and they're meeting people, going places, going to different events and seminars, growing their friendship or connection base, working on their experiences, their intellectual property. That's that stuff that they own in between their heads and stuff. Make sure they invest in their times in themselves doing that, and that's during college. Here's the deal. Now we're going to the end of the road. Okay, your child's networked in school. They're going on internships. They've been very aggressive about making connections and things like that. Now we start walking, getting ready for graduation. So now you built that somewhat small resume that they have, but they have what? Something. Now at that point, just go on some interviews, and I always kind of had a conversation with your children in regards to uh, your first couple of interviews may be more of a refinement thing, just understanding, how to answer questions off the hip, how to, have somewhat of a formal plan in regards to how they want to go about everything, because you got a lot of routine questions in regards to tell me a little bit about yourself, what make you want to do this, why should I hire you, what kind of money do you want, what experience, experience, those general questions. And the more you can kind of prep yourself for those kind of questions, I think it make life a whole lot easier, than just going into place shooting from the hip. Even though now if you're one of those people that can be genuine and just talk out the blue about a particular subject, that's cool. But the vast majority of people, I don't think are like that. I think they need some kind of warming up or practice to actually put themselves in a position to make sure they can do smooth interviews. So actually, make sure going on interviews, reaching out to people and stuff. And again, don't keep everything from the stuck on the point that this is what you want to do. At the end of the day, you have two things will go into effect, and I share this with people. When you graduate from college, you got two things. You got what you want to do, and you got who's hiring. Who hiring dictates every damn thing, because what you want to do, if it's not available, you can't do a damn thing about it, right? So that when it comes to that whole point of understanding what it's going to require, because that's the thing we go back to, and that we talked about in the front end where we're looking at going to school. Now we done graduated. Are you willing to travel and relocate? Are you willing to, totally maybe the only opportunities may be overseas for what you went to school for or not? Is that worth it to you? Not. Now I want to stay home and, stay with my parents another year or two. They're getting older. I get it. But understand the consequences that come along with it, good and bad. So that's something you need to kind of keep in mind with doing that. When we start talking about that, and again, we're talking about how to make sure your child get a job after college. When they graduate, you got to be straight up with them. Hey, listen, you went to school for marine biology. Those particular jobs are going to be near water. So unless you're looking at going, if you're not looking to relocate around the coastlines, it's going to be a certain lakes or certain places around the country. Be straight up with your kids about that. Be straight up with your kids like that. Don't have your kids go get a damn history or psychology degree. Now all of a sudden they want to do work in business and things like that. Will they get them opportunities to do that? Anything is possible. But you kind of working, you're working around yourself. It's going to school for one thing and not necessarily, going to probably the correct path that's needed for that. Okay. Again, the call-in number to call in is 678-961-3176. Again, that's 678-961-3176. But again, you're going on interviews. Okay, hey, listen, regardless of where these opportunities that I may have to relocate. These are the particular companies that they're going to be offering these particular positions, what I want to do. And last but not least, you got to push your child to make sure they get a solid mentor. Somebody's going to drop some good games, good dope, some good experience in between their ears. It is not always the easiest thing to do, right? It's not always one of the easiest things to do. What's going on? It's my cousin Robert. This is good. Hey, man, I appreciate you tuning in, cuz. Love you, boy. A lot of times people don't want to, I don't know, be transparent about where their kids are and aren't. I'm different. I have no problem asking anyone to help one of my kids. Now, one thing about with me, I'm going to tell my child to go call, your cousin Robert. Go call, I told my son the other day, talked to shout out my boy Josh Humphreys, he's HR whiz. I told my sons, call your Uncle Josh. I'm not going to speak for you. I'm not going to ask questions for you. You go talk to them and let them go tell you, because far too often as parents, we spend all the time telling our kids, do this. And they think they think we stupid as hell, right? No matter what kind of success we had, they think we dumb as hell. Daddy don't know a damn thing. Daddy retarded, because they see other people that, probably aren't as smart as your parents, but at the end of the day, it just, they ain't hitting that drum beat in their head all the time about, do this, do this. So look, I got no problem, man. Call such and such, man. Damn what daddy say. Hey, damn what daddy say. Daddy don't know a damn thing. Go call this person, right? And a matter of fact, only thing I always just tell my kids to do, regardless who you talk to, whatever you're talking to them about, make sure that they're credible in that. Don't talk to somebody about raising kids that don't have children. Don't talk to somebody about, having a business that don't have a damn business, right? You got to be getting marriage advice from somebody who never been damn married. That don't make sense. So again, when you say, okay, listen, I want to go, I talked to such and such, and they were telling me school, college was a waste of my money. You shouldn't go to college. What we're doing it, what school they went to? Well, they didn't go to college. They've been working at their job 30 years and they're okay. But that's still not a person you need to talk to. They can give you good advice on how to stay at a job for 30 years and retire, which is nothing wrong with it. But they can't give you damn advice on college, because at the end of the day, one thing about I hear people say this all the time. Well, I wouldn't go to you don't have to do that. I can make $100,000 doing this particular job. You go to college, you might not make this and make that. You don't know what the hell you can command if you're in a position to do that. And what I mean by that is, one person can't say what a particular job is. Just like I'm an accountant. I wouldn't go to school to be an accountant. You can't give a credible opinion on it, because that's not what you are, right? That's the thing about it. I have a CDL. I got my CDL when I was in the military, right? I drove trucks and stuff like that. Deonte understands I can make me a lot of money sitting down, figuring out stuff, doing, playing on my calculator, talking on the YouTube and doing things like that. Could I drive a truck? Yes. Do I have an interest to sit in a truck and drive? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. None whatsoever. You're talking to a brother that's hazardous cargo, nuclear, double trailer. I can drive anything but self-track. Never learned how to drive trains, but bulldozers, cranes, the 10,000 pound forklifts, all those used ones you got to climb a ladder. I done drove it all. License, I got everything here. I have no damn interest whatsoever. I can give you my opinion, but that's how I feel about it. But a lot of times when people tell you, hey, don't go to college or don't do this and do this, go to trade school, make sure you talk to several people and make sure your kids get a good, solid mentor. And that's for the parent and the child. Talk to several people. Don't just go, because I talk about it a lot. Sometimes people believe their opinion so hard that it's kind of like, I call it a hard opinion. It's not a fact. It's just really how you feel. And because I feel a certain way about it and I feel strongly about it, it still does not make it a fact. It still is my opinion on a particular subject. And I think the danger with that a lot of times people don't want to get away from, like, look, that's just your damn opinion, right? And everybody's entitled to having their own opinion. But whatever career path your child goes into, or anybody, it's always going to be pros and cons. It's always going to be pros and cons with doing it, what I do is, it's cool for me, but it can be extremely boring. Accounting is very boring. It's a very boring field. I make pretty good money with doing that because, experience and education, things like that, but it ain't for everybody. Anybody knows me, I've been cutting house out 12 years old. I made, I pretty much, from growing up all through the military, that's all I did was cut. I have no interest whatsoever in cutting a damn head right now. Making myself look good, teaching my children how to do stuff for themselves, make a little money in your pocket with doing that. And really, only one of my children has really gravitated to, dealing with hair and things like that. But for the most part, guys, I always say kind of each his own. To each his own in whatever path. I'm sorry, I was checking see somebody calling in. Guys, feel free to call in. The number 678-961-3176. Again, that's 678-961-3176. We're discussing how to make sure your child gets a job after college. I really like to have those conversations with people, because a lot of times people believe that their way of doing things is the best way. And that's mainly because lack of experience of doing certain things. And a lot of times people will give an opinion on certain things they can't, they can't do. And they'll say, well, I wouldn't go to school because you got this student loan debt. With doing it, if you actually go and you acquire student loan debt, you going and acquiring debt for a position that you've done your research, you have done your research on, that will put you in a position to pay the debt off. That will put you in a position after graduation to pay the debt off. If you go to school and acquire a degree or an education that is not going to pay you that kind of money, I mean, you can't blame damn college for that. That's just your dumb ass. Damn woman call you dumb, but that's your damn decision making. You can't don't sign up for something that's going to put you in hold that's not going to benefit you, right? And that ain't got to be your education. That could be a home, that could be a car, that could be any kind of partnership, relationship. Hell, it could be a damn marriage that you made the wrong decision for and financially put you in a hole. And the benefits that you thought you were going to get, or you just assume you're going to get, never happen. Okay, so you got to do proper research again. So we start discussing how to make sure your child get a job after college. You got to do that pre-planning when they're in high school, looking up the majors, looking up different opportunities. Do they have to move? And whatever they're going to school for, the opportunities abroad, are they locally, things like that. How's the money? How's the pay? Doing all this kind of stuff before they leave your house, go to college. Then when they go to college, you got to make sure they networking. You got to make sure they joining clubs. You got to make sure they're making connections. You got to make sure all that kind of stuff happens. Because again, what you want to have happen and what's going to be available out there, two whole different damn things. And that is life. Regardless how you want to look at it, okay? That's just life. And that's with any kind of, even whatever career path you want to go into. You just saying, okay, look, I'm just going to work. I'm going to bother about this is what I want to do. Understand. At the end of the day, if you're the type of person where you don't network with people, you don't meet people and stuff like that, nothing wrong with it. But you got to understand, when you want to advance, do certain things, who are you going to have to speak for you? Who do you know who to call? Who can make a call for you with just, hey, listen, okay, cool, man, I'll call my touch out. If you don't have those who's, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And what happens a lot of times, guys, we make relationships when we don't need the relationship. Because when you need the relationship and then you're asking, people don't be too quick to assist you, because like that, you're only speaking because you need something. Holler at me when you don't need me. Get to know me when there is no reason, it's not going to benefit you on the surface, right? Now the asset is I know you, in just case if I need something, cool, you can I can call you, and vice versa. But if you just initially bumping into somebody, hey, can you call these folks? Can you do that? Hell no, because I don't know you. And one thing about it, and I'm just sharing this with me, people reach out to me all the time in regards to, hey, can you speak to this person? Do you know this person there? And I know them, but the thing of it is, I got to know you a little better, know the situation a little better before I vouch for you, because I'm funny about my name. There are things that I can get done because I've actually maintained relationships and stuff, and people won't question because, oh man, Deonte sent him over here. Oh, now Poochie gave him a number and everything. And because of that, I got to be very mindful of protecting that. Okay, so you have to make sure we start having your children networking or whatever. Listen, get the relationship when the relationship isn't needed, when a person isn't necessarily stuck on having to need you for a particular thing, because that's when, again, people be reluctant to help you and do certain things for you when it ain't always going to benefit them. And I think a lot of time people don't look at it like that. They want to, hey man, I try to get them to help me out. I needed to make a phone call. Nobody ain't gonna do that for your ass. Nobody gonna do that for you, because you're only talking to them because it benefits you. So make sure we're trying to get them relationships and things like that started, again, when there is no perceived ulterior motive. Okay, so guys, I want to have that quick discussion with you guys. Nobody called in. I know we started a little early. Everybody probably still at work and ready to get off work, but I want to have a discussion with you guys on how to make sure that your child gets a job after college. Again, this has been live stream from Change the Live, hosted by yours truly, Deonte Burden. Make sure we'll stream live again on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and maybe something else I'm forgetting. But the main hub is the Changing Lives YouTube channel, where we have over 400 videos discussing everything from motivation, mentorship, family, parenting, dating, all this other great stuff. So make sure you go to that YouTube channel, Change the Lives, hosted by Deonte Burden. You can put in Deonte Burden and search on YouTube. You see the little blue man logo and icon. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow the channel. I've had this channel the longest, but it's not as big as Mr. Short Dollar, but we got a lot of great information. So if you did like, you came in on the live and you're new to the channel, and you do like some information you heard, go to the YouTube channel, change the lives, subscribe to it from there. Okay, guys, listen, I'm finna get rid of adios. I might be back on later on with this channel or even with Mr. Short Dollar. But I appreciate you guys. Be safe out there. Love you and talk to you soon.